It's 6 o'clock, Alders. We'll start a meeting. First thing I need to do is do the roll call. And so, Rick?
Here.
Yes.
I'm here.
Marshall Allen.
Here.
Ann Nowinski.
Here.
Paul Meyer.
Here.
Phil Schulterbeer.
Here.
And I think we got one missing, Al Walden.
He's not going to be here.
Okay, so one person is. Okay, need to approve the agenda. Does anybody want to add or change the agenda as submitted?
I'll move to be approved as presented.
And you a second?
Second.
All in favor to accept the agenda as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes unanimously. We need to approve last meeting's minutes. Anybody want to make any change to last meeting's minutes? If not, I need a motion.
Motion approved as.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor to accept the minutes as written, say aye. All opposed? The motion is passed unanimously. I don't think there's anybody here from the public. Anybody from the public? Nope. We need the law professionals.
Sure. All right, we had a fantastic month of April, like best on record. The best on record we ever had was in 2022, where we got, I think, 149, probably 7 or something. And we wouldn't have to beat that by 25,000. So it was, and I'm sure Sam and Ryan would say this, but when the weather is just halfway decent, it doesn't have to be nice. It's just halfway decent, we are busy. I mean, we had no place to put people yesterday. All day long, from 7 a.m. straight through until I was at home 5:30, and there were still online bookings coming in for the same day. Couldn't believe it. So it's really good. So yeah, 174, projected at 91, so we will take a win there. And round wise, where are we at here? I'm still learning a new thing.
Straight down.
Yeah, straight down. Actual is 3302. So 3302, and great, we're down 100 rounds, and yet we're making more money. That's a beautiful setup for golf. So we played a few less rounds, but we're making more money. That works out good. And May is shaping up to be really good as well. So hopefully it finishes strong. We got one good week ahead of us. We always like when Memorial Day falls on Monday, the 29th. And then we get the full weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that's good for revenue. Course is coming along real good. Ryan is doing a great job getting us out of all the winter mess. The Mother Nature's helping a lot too. All the free water. That a lot of golf course that had kind of suffered during the winter is coming back real fast. And Ryan is super proactive on getting out in front of things and seeing things. And so, any questions for Twin Peaks? All right.
Ryan? Or whoever?
I would have to say the same thing that Pete really has said. When it's decent out, it's busy. When it's extremely nice out, it is a zoo. It's unbelievable. But Sunset, April projected for 48,000. We came in revenue at 77,000. About 22,000 ahead of last year's April numbers. Round wise, projected for 3177. Actual rounds came in at 3245. Overall, we are now up in rounds for the year, 68 rounds ahead and 2.1% ahead of last year. I have to say I've never truly had to turn people away. until this year so far. And I tell my staff, I'm like, put squeezes in, add squeezes, but when we don't have enough space and we know that the pace of play is gonna be at almost a 3-hour round on a Saturday, Sunday, we have to start turning them away, unfortunately. But it's been crazy, and I'm happy. Can't argue with it, really. Any questions for me?
Well, they pretty much said it all. The demand for golf is truly amazing. It's, prior to 20, we're coming up with all these great ideas and dynamic pricing being with us, but we have to acquire to create demand. And we're in a place now that we're just meeting demand. And it's just been really something. Like Keith mentioned this past weekend, we filled every tee time from 6 o'clock until close to 5 o'clock in 4 days. Every tee time, with a few squeezes as well. We try to turn people away with 10-minute tee intervals. It gives us the opportunity to actually do that. So we throw in a few extra squeezes here and there, and it's 262 rounds on Saturday and 281 on Sunday, which is really amazing. It's been great. Really fun. I ran the weather's been kind of tough this month, obviously. When the weather cooperates, it's great. But I ran the report month to date. We're at like 197,000 for May. And last year we were at 261, so we're about 64,000 behind. 64,000 to go. I think we'll get there. At least if still needs to bang, it'll be another extra 5,000 or so. And then if the weather cooperates, I think there's no problem achieving prior year's numbers. Not only is the demand for just regular play good, but tournaments as well. Might be the first year that I've actually turned tournaments away. It just, we have 23 tournaments there. Besides our men's club and corporate and fundraising events, 23. It's really unbelievable. And there's just been a few where it didn't quite make sense. I figure with the demand we have, we'll just go with our regular play. It's been good. Any questions?
Okay, communications, old business, there is none. And new business, membership with
Yep. Okay, so we were gonna cover this last month and had challenges, so we'll cover it this month, and if anybody has questions, please interrupt. So the golf fund, if you could go to the next slide, the golf courses are an enterprise fund. All of the revenues and expenditures that come in golf are under this fund. The only tax support that golf receives is for the bond election that was passed in 2018 to build the U Creek maintenance facility and replace irrigation here at Twin Peaks and at Sunset. Otherwise, everything that we can spend has to be generated through our fees and charges. Next slide. Quick overview of staffing. We have in golf a total of 11.15 staff. 0.4 of my salary as recreation and culture director is under golf. The other is in recreation. Danny Sherrill, who works 3/4 times, salary is in here. And then everybody else that works in golf in the maintenance side, which those staff work for Ryan or for Dan. And then we also have the 3 contracts that we manage with the golf pros. They're listed here just to demonstrate that they're part of golf, but they are not employees of the city. They are all contracted. Many of the people that you see working at the front counters or out with the carts are either employees of the golf pros or they're volunteers that volunteer for Ryan, Keith, and Sam. We have a total of 31 seasonal or temporary people that help our staff that take care of the golf courses. Ryan, how many acres is Twin Peaks?
Twin Peaks is 100 total acres and Sunset is 42 total acres.
And Dan?
We're about 250, including the native and everything. So, yeah, we spread out quite a ways.
So a lot to take care of with really a limited staff. And then they also take care of the clubhouses as well and the parking lots. Next slide. So golf operations for 2023, we have budgeted revenue of almost 2.9 million. We have expenditures of 3.3 plus in the 3 golf courses. This is for the operational budget. It does not include any of our capital replacement or capital projects that we work on. That number for revenue is very conservative. Last year, if you look at the report that the pros just went through, we had revenue in 2022 of just about $3.8 million. We really anticipate that money, that revenue will come in at least at 3.5 million this year. And if golf continues like it is, it could beat the 3.8 million if again the demand continues like it has been.
So what's the agenda to such a conservative projection?
If all of a sudden it rains all of June and July, it protects us from being overly aggressive. That money can only go to golf. So if we shoot the 3.8 million like we did last year, that just goes into the golf fund. It cannot be used anywhere else. Next slide. And we'll talk a little bit more towards the end, but these are the projects that were approved in 2018, maintenance facility, irrigation, and rehab of satellites out at New Creek. And again, we'll come back to that. Please remember that 5.7 number as we move forward. We might come back to that slide, Ryan. Go ahead. For capital for this year, we have $15,000 budgeted to work on cart pass. We'll probably do work at U Creek on number 11, right, Dan? Yep. To finish some of the work we began earlier. 204,616 as part of the golf buildings rehab. The biggest part of that number, which was 130,000, was to help repair the retaining wall off of Pace Avenue, or Pace Street, excuse me, the underpass by 11.
11 as well.
And that was failing. Fortunately, Public Works went in and did work on that last fall. That work has been holding very well, and there's a good possibility that we won't need to spend that money on the Pace project, and that will come back to be able to do projects within golf itself. And then the 1.6 million in irrigation, that is money that's coming from the public improvement fund to go towards the irrigation projects. If you could go back to the bond projects, and Ryan and Dan jump in here. Last year when we went to bid for the irrigation here at Twin Peaks, we were $1.6 million over budget just for Twin Peaks. We went back out hoping that we would get some savings by doing 2 projects at once and being able to have that company stay in town rather than relocating and having to come back to do Sunset. So again, we added 1.6 million, so we have for Twin Peaks irrigation, 4.7 in round numbers. That bid for Twin Peaks and for Sunset this year came in at 6.9 million. So we are currently negotiating with our one bidder to see if we can come at least into a bid or a budget of around 5.3 to 5.4 million. We met with them, it's been almost a month ago, and are waiting for their response. We feel like that day we were able to do some negotiation, but it's not official until they provide us the proposal in writing.
So the contract already good?
No,
No? Have you thought about going out for rebid?
but we did go out for rebid. This was the second time. Since May of last year, we rebid, and we were that much over. So Twin Peaks alone had from May of 22 until March of 23, the cost had gone up $900,000.
Okay.
And so we need to do something. If we wait another year or until the fall, it's only going to continue to go up. So it's really our hope that we can negotiate to get some work done yet this fall. Same kind of situation with U Creek Maintenance Facility. We went to a bid. That bid opening was in April. The bids came in 1.4 million over budget from what we had done in cost estimates last year. We'd actually taken 1.5 million from carryover to help make that project happen. And again, now we're 1.4 if you add the carryover or contingency that we would need. We're really about 2.2 million over budget on that project. We're doing some negotiation with the 2 bidders and seeing if we can cut out one of the buildings and only do the maintenance building. We're considering doing only 1 bay instead of 2 bays with the maintenance facility and doing more of a what I would call a lean-to building for storage equipment where it wouldn't be enclosed, but it would at least be able to get us with equipment underneath some type of rain and snow protection.
So carport style?
Yeah. Again, waiting for responses and working with our purchasing division to move towards trying to do that. It would be our hope that we would be able to make some real decisions by June. Next slide. The other issue, next one please. The other thing that we're really experiencing is everything in the operational side of doing business is going way up. Just to give you an example of what we paid for in seasonal golf carts, which are carts we rent from October 1st until September 30th, thereabouts. They're supplemental to what I'm going to talk about next, but just their cost went from $35,000 a season to $64,000. And then if you could go to the next slide, this gives you an example. We were doing a cart lease from 2018 until 2022 for the golf carts at U Creek. That rental or that lease cost went from $55,000 annually to $99,000, almost $100,000. And the only thing we did differently in those golf carts is that we went to lithium batteries. We feel like we're going to get some better longevity with that. We did sign a 5-year lease. So when our golfers go to the golf course and see that golf rental rates went up from what they were to what they are now, I've just had a
15 to 18.
15 to 18. That is about a 20% increase in the cost. This is closer to 50 to 60% increase. So we understand that we have a market that we're trying to appeal to with our golfers, and we couldn't raise our rates enough to cover the real cost. So we felt like we needed to do that in bite-sized portions. We feel like next year there'd be another probably a 10% increase to try to at least try to cover that. And then if you could go to the next slide, Brian. The other thing is the cost of wages. In 2021, we were paying most of our temporaries, and this is just temporaries right now. Temporaries were being paid between $15 and $15.50 per hour. Last year, we were really struggling across the city with trying to hire temporary employees. City Council was gracious enough to listen to the issues that we're having with hiring temporary employees, and they increased the minimum wage from $12.80 to $15.50. They also agreed in 23 to raise that number to $16.41. So anyone that's starting within golf as a temporary is starting out at $16.41. And then we pay some stipends or higher amounts, if you will, for years of service and different experiences. So the cost of our wages have gone up by, $220,000 just to be able to staff at the level that we need to do. These two items, just the golf carts and the wages, are just examples of things that I'm probably preaching to the choir at this point. If you are going to the grocery store or if you're going out to eat, you're seeing these same things, and golf is no different. Everything that we do is costing a lot more money. Just to give you an example, in fleet costs, and I don't remember if we have a slide on this or not. Yeah, if you would. No, but for fleet in 2023, we had $320,000 budgeted to replace equipment. That equipment came in $76,000 to $80,000 higher than what was budgeted. And so we had to go through an appropriation to be able to buy the equipment or afford to buy the equipment that we needed to buy for this year. The other issue that is going along with that is lead time. We haven't even gotten 2022 equipment, all of our equipment, let alone any of our equipment for what we're buying in 23. So most of that equipment will not come in until May of 2024 at the earliest. So there's all these lead time things that we're also having to deal with across the operation. So that's, if you could go to so that's just kind of a summary of where we're at in the golf operations. We did raise our green fees by $2 to $3, I believe it was, over, depending on whether it was 9 holes or 18 holes. We increased also the cart fees. We increased the range balls. The one thing that we didn't do in an effort to try to be loyal to our existing customers is that we did not raise any of our passes or any of our 10 punch fees for the range to try to be loyal to them. we're not gonna be able to afford to do that again next year. So in 2024, you will see passes and those areas going up as well.
We did raise the use fees.
The use
We
fees,
just
yeah.
didn't raise the purchase price of
Right.
passes,
Yeah.
or the premium passes, the punch cards,
Yeah.
or the ring passes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's right, you can expect to see the purchase prices go up next year.
So that's just kind of a quick summary of budget. Does anyone have questions or comments or thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do the budget?
Yes.
Do you have to go to the Longmont City Board?
Yes, yep.
So what happens if, like, you know, we had the budget and we exceed the budget? Are you under some kind of?
Yes, that cannot happen. So what we as staff are required to do is, in the example that I gave for fleet, where we were 80,000 over what was budgeted. So we have to go what is through is a appropriation, where we have to explain to city leadership why we need to have the additional money, and then that has to go to city council to be approved to be able to spend the money. Any money that the city spends has to be approved and appropriated according to budget law within the state. And if we don't do that, there is a potential of serious issues that could come back. We take that money from fund balance to appropriate.
But it's quote our money, right? I mean,
It's golf money.
it's not tax money.
No, it's all for those items, other than the bond projects, all of that is golf money.
So why did you go so conservative on the budget? I mean, it looks like you already know you're gonna have to go back and ask or tell somebody we.
Well, concerned on the budget, is concerned on the revenue.
Revenue side.
Oh, the revenues.
Yeah.
Oh.
So just so you're aware, I'm acting like I know a lot about budget. I know a lot now because we've gone through all the process. When I had to submit the budget was a year ago. So I had to do what was our best estimate. Right now, on Friday, I did the same thing for 2024. Used my best estimates based on what I know today of what our budget would be for next year. And the whole cost thing is finally starting to level out, but it's been ridiculous over the last 2+ years.
Well, it's tough to guess what the weather's gonna be, how many people are gonna show up.
Yeah.
What tournaments you're gonna get that are gonna be committed. There's no guarantee on money coming in.
No, and I looked really smart when it was February and March when it was snowing and raining everywhere. You know, and really part of April was not all that good. And then to get the April report and see that we've caught up, not only caught up, but passed last year, which was one of our best years in golf history, is just says a lot to how much people are committed to golfing in Longmont and how much they like the product and the services that these folks are providing. So it really says a lot about that.
I also say that when somebody doesn't get to go out and play for 2 months because of weather,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, they are gonna go wherever as fast as they can get.
Absolutely.
And those that are local and know the courses are gonna say, I'm gonna go here right now, because I know I get on, I know what's gonna happen there. I don't have to worry about, gonna go to Walmart or wherever, and that, so that's I think a big benefit of everybody knowing what's at each of the courses that are local there.
Yeah, the weather this winter certainly made people hungry to play golf. And then you have challenges like Dan dealt with 1.5 inches of rain Thursday afternoon. He could, and hail. Yeah, he could have showed you the new river that is in Longmont.
Yeah, it
would
went
be
down fast, but yeah.
The big fan runs.
I have video of 18. It was a 12-foot plus wide river in between the fairway and my parents' house. It was insane.
Apartments, right there on Pace 7.
Yep.
I drove by there on Thursday. Well, Thursday was when it came down. Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock. There was still 6 to 8 inches of hail standing in that ditch right there.
It was the same, we had a meeting out there Friday morning, and the Safeway parking lot, it looked like it had had a snowstorm.
Right.
It was crazy. And we didn't get anything like that at sunset. I don't think.
No, it stopped basically at Lashley.
Yeah.
Because I was driving across town from over to on 17th, and as soon as I hit Lashley, it started getting hail, and by the time I got to my house, which is just past Pace, we had hail everywhere. But
We had a sprinkle of hail, but other than that,
yeah.
I had a bolt lightning drop down by the park in the parking lot as I was leaving. Just dropped right next to the truck, and literally everything on me just stood straight up. I was like, scared.
That baby only got 4 months old.
Any other questions on the budget? Now, let's move on to the bond project.
I kind of covered that at the same time, yeah.
Any questions on the bond project update? Items from the staff?
I do have one question. So we were scheduled to meet again in June. Wanted to know what your thoughts are about meeting in June. I cannot meet in July, so if we don't meet in June, it would be August would be for our next meeting. So if you're available, I think it would be good to have a June meeting. Sorry, Keith.
They got eye contact going with everybody. Summertime. All right. Busy motherfucker.
So,
So right now, June is scheduled.
yes.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
No, I just wanted to make sure you have that on your calendar for June.
Yeah, or on vacation.
Any items from the board?
Yes, real quick. I will be absent in August, if, for the record.
Well, if we have
Another family vacation, so,
In August?
August.
In June, okay.
Any other items from the board? I have a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second? Motion's been made and adjourned and seconded, and all in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Great meeting.
Good meeting, Mr. Chicken.